Welcome to Step Up Your Studio, the essential podcast for dance studio owners and teachers who are ready to grow their business, inspire their dancers, and create thriving studios. Join your hosts, Stephen Sirico and Angela DeVolta Sirico, for actionable insights, step-by-step blueprints, and expert advice designed to help you succeed.
Welcome, everybody, to Step Up Your Studio, the podcast that will provide you with a blueprint for your continued success. And today's guest in the hot seat is Kim McSwain. Welcome, Kim. Kim is with KM Agency. She's had an amazing career as a dancer, working with Britney Spears, NSYNC, and Michael Jackson, just to name a few. Also appeared in a number of films with J-Lo and Ben Affleck and you name it. I mean, she's done everything, basically. And then, Kim, you went on to teach and for different competitions. I know that you were with Nuvo and Jump.
Yes,
and
Jump and Adrenaline.
Yeah, absolutely.
To some wonderful people.
Yeah. And, yes, and you started also teaching teachers, which is always interesting.
Lovely.
And we love teaching teachers too. And, then you moved on and you had the Changing Lives movement. And now you've got the KM Agency. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
KM Agency developed after Changing Lives. It developed into KM Agency when, after COVID happened. And I was there with all of the studios and I saw what happened. And I was there hugging everybody and holding everybody and loving everybody. And I saw what happened. And when everybody needed to rebuild, I thought, I want to be there with them. And I want to see everybody succeed. When I was in the dance business, I started as a dancer and I was very good. And that's how we met.
Absolutely.
Joyce.
Yes. Well, just let me jump in here. We've known each other since, how old were you?
I was 16.
16, yeah. We were very good friends with Kim's teacher, Joyce Bader, who had the Dallas Dance Academy, and she was from South Africa and an amazing teacher, and produced Kim, who was an amazing dancer, and you could take it on from there.
Miss Joyce, what a mentor, And I went to an all ballet school. So I was dancing quite a number of hours. I was dancing probably 30 to 40 hours a week by the time I was 8 years old. And I was in every genre. And mom put me in private lessons for everything. So mom wanted me to be a star. And, I went to be a star. And I did great in Los Angeles. And I booked almost every job I went on. It wasn't for me, though. It wasn't for me, Angie. I fell in love with teaching. And I fell in love with children. And, I started with, as a young teacher, you only want to teach the best. I want to teach the top kids. I want to teach the best kids. Well, after my injury and when I was paralyzed, when I stopped being able to move and demonstrate, I had to use my words. I had to use my voice to teach. And I started teaching the younger generation, the young kids. Well, I fell in love with it because it started to be much harder to teach, to educate. And I found it difficult. So for me, it was fun. It was harder to educate the younger kids, to get them to do what I had to make them do.
Yes.
So I found that very fun and I became well known for it. So then I started educating the teachers on how to teach that young of a child and get them to be enthralled with you at the same time. Well, then from there, it started just kind of blooming on how to educate kids. Well, then I started loving how to educate the kids that didn't really want to be in the classroom, that didn't really want to be involved. Well, then it started kind of, for me, Angie, is kind of like, how did I want to go further and educate the kids that were harder to educate, right? And help the studios succeed? Because for me, I was the top kid. I was the kid that won everything. I have never lost in my life. And so I know how to deal with those children, and I know how to deal with the children that can't win and the kids in between. And what was hard for me is sitting at the judges' table and seeing the same studios win over and over and over and over. And I was working with the studios that were not winning, but I was making them win. Within 4 years, I was making them win the dance awards. So I thought, why isn't everybody doing this? You just have to see and dive in and care,
Absolutely.
right? We
Absolutely.
just have to dive in and care and take some time with these studio owners and say and be honest, this is the mark that we're missing. This is what we need to do. This is what this teacher might not be working for you. This system or this curriculum might be off just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, Angie, that's why I became successful, is because of my honesty and my
Well,
care,
yes.
my actual genuine care for a studio.
Yes, well, that's so important. It's so funny, because I injured my foot. This was years ago. And I was literally, they misdiagnosed it, and I had a couple of operations, and I was in I had in a cast and a boot for it seemed like a year. And I
Oh,
had to do the same thing. I had to find ways to make the students understand what I wanted them to do because I couldn't move. And it actually helped me tremendously as a teacher and
makes
made me realize, like you, that even the ones that don't want to do it, you can make them want to do it
yes,
if you find the right part in them.
seeing them, and that's what I'm going to be speaking on when I come to see you guys. Is my
Yes,
method, which I call SAFE, right? Being seen, being accepted, being focused on, and expected to be excellent.
exactly.
Because these kids, they're all different personalities. And what I have noticed is when you take the time as a teacher, and it is very difficult because you have 30 kids in a room, 50 kids in a room, 20 kids in a room, in 45 minutes to see all of them. But when you do, they will work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. And it's happened to me. I mean, just if you just say a child's name sometimes, if you
Right,
just point them out and say, great job, so and so, or just the
right.
fact that you've remembered their name, their little faces light up. And
Yeah,
often, I mean, it's not always the case, but often when dancers are good, they just are naturally good.
right,
They don't work as hard. They don't try as hard. They
right,
get to the point where it's just easy for them.
right.
And so these kids who don't have all the, you know, talent right or the
Natural facility.
capability in their hands have to really, really work for it. But those are the ones that very often succeed. I mean, if you've got both, it's great. If you've got a great work ethic and you're good, then you have a way to the top. Just like you.
It came easy for me, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it doesn't come easy for everybody. But
No,
what you have to look at as a teacher is, what do they do have? What do they have? And let's work on that. And that's what you
absolutely.
get to focus on with the kids too, because the kids are already going in with the mindset of what they don't have. They're
Yes.
already looking at the kids of what they're comparing themselves. I
Yeah.
don't have that flexibility. I don't have their feet. I don't have their body. Great. We all know that. What do we have, sweetheart? Because
Yes.
that's what we're going to go with. Right. And what you have to do as a teacher is you have to create an environment of a non-judgmental space, which is very, very hard because everybody's already coming in judging, because
Yeah.
it's normal human behavior. And you have to let them know this is normal. Of course you're looking at that, sweetie girl. But guess what? We're not
Yeah.
gonna, not in my
We
space.
No, we got other things to look at, all
Yeah,
the good
another
things.
thing to focus on. And we're
Yeah,
focusing on what you're great at. And you know what you're great at is, I happen to like that you're kind of naturally on top of your center. I like that.
yeah.
And maybe they're not.
No, but at
And
least it
maybe
makes them feel, and who knows, they might even get it because you gave them the idea.
you're
That's the whole
exactly right.
point.
You're
Yeah,
exactly right. And it
yeah,
takes care in the classroom, Angie. And I really care when I teach.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think that some teachers and in some hiring positions as leaders and as studio owners, we are hiring the wrong people. We are hiring for talent and not passion. We are hiring for talent and not work ethic. We are
Yeah,
hiring for talent and resumes and not for longevity in the career. And I think that we need to really look at that, because a lot of times we can hire a young kid in there that has great moves, but do they speak words of wisdom into our clientele that can
no,
stay with us for long years, that are making these parents happy? And that's one of the things that I never thought about young as a dancer is, am I making our clients happy, right?
right.
Because I
So
want them
important.
back. I'm not saying that we can make everybody happy, because we got some crazy cuckoo birds. But what I am saying is that we do have paying clientele. And if we are doing it correctly and staying true to our mission statements and our morals and what we set out in the original at the beginning of our businesses, then we'll do great.
And that's so important to remember. I think it's so easy nowadays for people, studio owners to kind of get swayed and stray away from who they really are.
Yes, ma'am.
And I always found that too. I mean, I'm a pretty stubborn person. Steve will tell you. I'm a Taurus, so just have to put a red flag in front of me, and
And you'll go.
yeah. But you know, I always felt it was so important to stick to who you are,
Right.
and not everybody's going to be your person, but that's okay.
That's what I
And
say.
the
That's what I
ones
say
that
too.
yeah, and the ones that are interested in trying, you can bring out the best in them.
I think so too. I think that when you have your studio, that is an extension of your home. That is an extension of who you are and what you want to represent. That is an
Yes.
extension of what you have set out to create and your brand. And if you can't stay true to that because of the people that you hire are tarnishing that brand, then they have to go.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes that's hard. And
It's
it's
very
hard, because maybe they've been with you for a long time, or, you know, there's a lot of factors, but at the end of the day, we're in a business,
right.
and we're in the business of really creating not just dancers, because that's the superficial part of it in a way.
Right.
We're in the business of really helping these kids grow up to be strong, committed human beings who will
Right.
be kind and have talent and know how to do things and have confidence to do whatever they do.
Right.
And that's, out. I was just saying to a friend of mine, Hedy Perner, who's also going to be teaching at the conference.
Great.
You'll always get those really good students, but every student who walks through that door, like you say, has something to give.
Right.
We just got to
Right.
get it out of them. It's like doing this.
Well, you know what I always ask kiddos, and I ask people that I hire to, what do you love? What do you want to do? What is your passion? What are you good at? Because I think what happens is we put everybody in a bubble when they come to us. Okay,
Yes.
you're going to be a dancer. Well, what if they don't want to be a dancer? What if dance takes them somewhere,
Yeah.
right? Dance, a lot of my students went on to be wonderful, amazing human beings, CEOs, bosses, event planners, moms, different things, veterinarians,
Yeah.
amazing careers. But dance took them there, right? Dance
Absolutely.
made them who they were. That's, I think, was really important is when we have these kids come in our lives. What do you want to be? What do you like? What do you enjoy? I love to draw. Show me your drawings,
Yes.
right?
And very often they're amazed. I do the same thing. Oh, I'd love to see your drawings. Bring them in. Let's
Yeah,
show them to everybody. And we can even put some up. It's
right.
just encouraging, and it's just communication, isn't it? At the end of the day,
It
it's
is, Angie,
really
and
communicate.
connection with that child. When that
And
child connects with you, they will come. They will work for you.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And I feel that since COVID, so many students they've lost their confidence. They
Yes, ma'am.
really have. So we have to do the best we can, really, to bring that out of them. And if you had a tip for a dance studio owner, it's like a one thing that they could put into use immediately. What do you think that could possibly be?
I would get them off the phones. I would have the kids immediately when they come in, notice them. And when I say notice them, I mean when they walk in the door. So keep those doors closed. Greet your kids. Greet them, every one of them. Hey, what are you doing? Your hair looks good today. Look at those lashes. I like that outfit, Lulu. Makeup's good today. What are you doing? Somebody's happy. Greet your kids. Notice them. Are their arms crossed today? Do they make eye contact? Is their head dropped? Notice them as they walk in the room. You can tell a lot about your kids because are you seeing them? Right?
Right.
Do they
Well,
look different?
exactly. I did something for years. I'd make the kids come in, and I'd be at the front desk, and as they'd come in after school, I'd say, "How are you feeling today?" And
Right.
they'd, "Oh, I feel very good." I was like,
Mhm.
"No, no, you feel fabulous."
Right.
And so they got in the habit every time they saw me at the front desk when they came in from school, say, "Hi, I feel fabulous." And
Right.
so they even gave me, a little cup saying, "I feel fabulous."
Right.
And I gave all those kids that year bracelets that said, "I feel fabulous."
Yeah. Because
And
they get used to that. Because
yes,
even if I know for a fact that I have gotten used to trying never to say anything bad about myself,
yeah,
and it gets into a habit.
yeah.
teaching kids good habits. I did not have the best role models. My role model was Miss Joyce. She was my role model.
Yeah, she was amazing.
And so that's what I always extend to these studio owners is hire role models for these children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So important. Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're so excited. You and your team are coming to
The
give
whole
seminars.
thing.
Yes, it's so exciting. We can't wait to see you all out there. And we really like to feel that Dance Teacher Web's a community
Right.
because it's a way to bring all teachers together, studio owners, people from different countries and different places. And at the end of the day, we realize we all have the same issues, the same
Right.
problems, the same ups and downs and, moments. We all have moments, but
Everybody. We travel, KM Agency travels from studio to studio to studio. And no matter where we go, we always sit and it's the same thing.
yeah,
And what I always tell them is they say, Kim, are we the only ones? And I
no,
say, I want you to find peace in the fact that the studio we just left has the same issues. It's a different brand, different
yeah,
kids, different size, different things, but the same base issue. And we're
absolutely.
working on it. And, my team is fabulous. We're coming with Lauren Ritchie, who does mental skills training. We're coming with Julia Pearson, who is the preschool princess and is a dream of anything that has to do with children under 8 years old. And then, of course, Blake Stanley, structural anatomy and technique. So we have got a powerhouse of KM Agency coming in to talk. And what's great about my team is the humbleness. It feels like you're talking to a friend. That's what it feels like. And I know I'm in awe of them when they start to speak and their intelligence and their knowledge of what they know. And then when they speak to me, the humbleness of who they are as people.
Right.
And,
Well,
you know,
you know,
that's why I hired them. They just want the
I
best.
think that reflects from you, and we've always felt the same way, we were putting the thing together, but we couldn't do it without everybody. And we go around learning from everybody as much as we can because
Mhm.
you can never stop learning.
Never.
When none of us above that,
Never.
and we've always wanted to be approachable where we love to talk to people. We love people coming and talking to us. That's how you get exchange of ideas.
Yeah, that's how we grow. And I want everybody to always remember that. And that's the best feeling ever is when a business can go to another business and say, can you help me? What are you doing that's great and working for you? Let me know. That's how we
Exactly.
grow as studios. And that's what I really preach and love for KM Agency is the community. Because why is not every studio booming and succeeding in the same level? We can all have different brands, we can all have different visions because we're all different
Mm.
people. But why are we not all succeeding so that we can meet up at those big competitions and all really give it a go, all
Yes.
really give it a gung ho chance to compete?
So important,
It is.
and I have to tell everybody watching that Kim is the most passionate speaker, and she usually leaves people in tears because they feel so much from her. So we're so grateful for you to be with us, and you
Thank
know
you.
we feel like we've known you forever, and we
We
have.
have. We have. I have. I just was born into this. At a year and a half, I was in pageants. And then mom put me in dance and gym and twirling and everything and whatever. I've been consumed by this world. So
Yeah,
it's all I really know. It's all I really care about. And I guess that I care about the healthiness of it
sure.
because my mom did not do it right, but she did it for the right reasons, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
understand that now because my mom is older. She has dementia. I know why mom did it. And she instilled a work ethic in me that is unstoppable. But I know I want to instill the same work ethic in kids and dancers and teachers, but in a healthy way,
sure.
in a positive way. And I see where the dance world is going. And I've been around for so long and I know the ins and outs and the goods and the grosses. And I just want everybody to do it right. I'm for everybody doing it right and being great. And I just think kids should be in dance. I love it.
Well,
I,
me too. I mean, I started dancing when I was 3, and I never thought about doing anything else my entire life. and I went on to have a good career too. But there's different plateaus in the life of a dancer.
There
and
is.
and the exciting thing about dance is no matter how what level you go to or what change you go to, it's just using what you already know. It's really wonderful
It's
that we can do that.
what it does for your brain as well, Angie. I just feel like what it teaches you in life
Yep.
really has taken me far. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
has taken me very far in life. I mean, sitting at the bar I loved ballet. I dreamed of this 8 a.m. Saturday freezing mornings, toes bleeding ballet bar. I loved that. So I love the discipline of everything ballet brought in culture and the respect.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes. Yeah. And you had a wonderful teacher, so that helped,
she
you
was
know.
consistent, Angie. She was
Yeah,
consistent
she
and
was. And
calm.
she wanted excellence. And I feel the same way. I always say to my students, look, it's just as easy to be excellent as not. It's
Yes.
much more fun to be excellent because you have to strive for it. But when we never get all the way there, but just trying to be the best possible is much more exciting than just
It really
dragging along.
It
You know,
really is. And she never raised her voice. She never was upset. She always spoke like this.
yeah,
I was her angel, and there was a way that I behaved, and that was that.
and you just responded
And I
exactly.
responded accordingly
Yeah,
for since I was 8 till I was 18.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I loved it. And I think that, and I know that my children did really well as well when I expected excellence. And I think that kids really live up to what you believe in them. And I
Oh, I
believe
see.
the best in children. I believe the best in every children.
Uh,
And really the bad ones, because I think the bad ones are trying to say, look at me. I've
yeah,
got something.
yeah. They just don't know. They're just confused. They just need guidance. That's all. You
Yeah.
know, we can do it.
We can do it. Give me that kid any day.
I know. Well, listen, Kim, thank you so much. We've really enjoyed having you on.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to seeing you and the gang at the conference.
We can't wait.
And
I hope everybody stops by our booth to hang out and
yes,
talk all day.
absolutely. Trust me, Kim has a lot to offer in many, many different ways that will help anybody in this business. So, thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you.
we look forward to seeing everybody in Step Up Your Studio, the next episode of it. So join us. And thank you again, Kim. It was lovely.
You're welcome. Bye, Angie. Bye,
Bye.
Steve. Love you guys. See you later, guys.
Love you too. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Step Up Your Studio. Remember to subscribe, share with fellow dance professionals, and join our community dedicated to studio success. Until next time, keep stepping up.